Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, so here we are, Monday morning, before the whole Wall Street and bank meltdown, US economy stuff begins. I'm going to explain some things to people going forward because I got a bunch of emails and stuff like that. Believe it or not, I got emails from people that are not even part of the family community, people that caught the videos and just basically reached out like, what do you think is going on? They're not even part of our stock place. Let me try to explain something to you. Maybe I have a very simple way of explaining things. Maybe that's why people wanted to hear. You look at SVB. Okay. I'm going to tell you how the banking model had changed over the years. I'm going to tell you why things are messed up now, why things got even worse, how people were set up for a major fall just recently. There was a time when if you lent money to your bank lent money in your community. Business loans in your community, to businesses in your community, gave out mortgages for people to buy homes in the community, gave out auto loans for people to buy cars in the community. So the way the bank made money was it took your money and lent your money out within your community. That's where the whole term community bank came from. Okay? Then, through time, banks started to do something that should never have been allowed again, but nonetheless, certain political parties said, yeah, it's okay. Banks started to make investments with your money in order to give you a return. So instead of lending the money out to your neighbor to, build an extra, extension to the house or garage or whatever, or lend money so somebody can, grow their business in your community, hire more employees. No, they started to invest in stocks, bonds, and other crazy stuff, derivatives. Keep that one in mind. And at the end of the day, we created these monsters that, in order to borrow money from them, was now in the community was now next to impossible. The criteria was ridiculous, but they wanted you to open up that checking and savings account. They wanted you to do that. Why? Because that was their money in order to get on the market and invest so they can make greater returns. Problem is, we have a situation like what just happened now. And SVB, there's a lot of shady shit that happened there. Let's just call it what it is. SVB is nothing more than a certain political party's bank. And when I say that, I'm neither Republican or Democrat. So let's just say right and left, or let's just say conservative, constitutionalist, freedom loving. That's this side, that's me. And on the other side is the reckless, I don't care, let's do anything, down with Jesus, whatever. The communist, socialist, green, woke, everything on that side. You have a situation that happened along the way. Banks became nothing more than institutions that took money and put it wildly in the market. Now that was great when everybody had guaranteed wins, like during the shutdowns and the stimulus money was everywhere. That didn't happen anymore, especially when the government stopped giving out stimulus money and interest rates started to go up. FDIC, they got to rescue, SVB Bank. That took a chunk out of their money. And you saw Yellen saying there's not going to be no bailouts, no more bailouts. And everybody's like, yeah. I'm like, are you fucking stupid? The G8 last summer, they all together said, we're no longer paying for it. No more bailouts. There's only going to be bail-ins. And here's where people get confused. That bail-ins does not mean the government pays for it out of the money they collected from us. No. They're not going to give up that money. No. They're too busy doing other diabolical shit with it. What they're gonna do is they're gonna do bail-ins. And bail-ins is you and I get taxed out of our money that's already in banks in order to shore up and rescue banks that did bad investments. Because please understand something, SVB, the whole house of cards fell down because they made bad investments. They invested in these worthless tech startup companies, and they invested into Wall Street on treasury bonds that at the end of the day were going down. And I've been saying it for the longer time. Higher interest rates kills bonds. I mean, if a guy on you, well, let's put it this way. They have teams of people that must have been telling them that, because if I was saying it on YouTube to people that probably don't even own bonds, but I was trying to give you the education of or information of, okay, when you have high interest rates, if you're into bonds, yeah, that's no good. So SVB made bad investments. Their people got nervous, want their money out, just like today, banks across America, small regional banks, people are going to try to get their money out. That's going to cause a chaos. Over the weekend, it started the problem with First Republic Bank and some other banks, and expect the big banks to start acting strange. Let me explain to you the reason why. Remember when I said derivatives, and I said derivatives again? Okay. You see the big banks, the Morgans, Citi, Wells, all those banks? Here's a little bit of a problem. They're invested in the trillions into derivatives. Okay? All that toxic debt leveraged oversold multiple times. Remember CDO over CDO over CDO? Just one bank alone probably has it invested holding 40 to 50 trillion in derivatives. That's bigger than the U.S. entire GDP. You're talking something beyond, and that's just one bank. The idea going forward is bail-ins. They did bail-outs before. Bail-ins is that we're gonna get taxed to rescue the banks, their buddies, for what they did on Wall Street with their buddies, their counterpart, banking and Wall Street. And at the end of the day, we're going to get screwed over. We're going to get mugged. We're going to get taken. Why? Because the political elite decided last year, no more bailouts. It's not coming from us. Politicians don't want to give up the money to the bankers. No. Listen, politicians were investing heavily in the financial sector just a couple of months ago. And you think to yourself, why? The market's going to go down. The banks are going to go down. Yeah, of course. Because they're going to make sure that they're taken care of. Bail-ins. Bailouts was 2008. So when they say there's going to be no bailouts, those miserable cocksuckers, they're trying to say that to you like they're trying to protect you. On the contrary, they're telling you, we're not going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it. You understand? Bail-ins means you pay for it. So every person that's out there taking money from the bank, every bank that starts to fall down because of bad investments, every bank the FDIC can't cover, everything to rescue all of them, you're going to pay for it. And you're going to pay money into banks that at the end of the day are not even sick, that are not even hurt, because they're going to put in applications that they need money. They need money. Mark my words. Bail-ins, not bailouts. And by the way, for everybody to understand something, SVB Bank, and if, we all know Signature Bank last night went down as well. Those two alone, and if First Republic goes down, FDIC is gone. In a world, like I said it back, I think it was in January, in a world where there's trillions in deposits, but only billions to insure it, the American banking system is cooked. It's done. It's over. But they needed this. They needed this in order to move us into the new system. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We know you got screwed. We know you lost money. Just download this app, register yourself to this, and then we're going to make sure that you get the new CBDC, the central bank digital currency, the digital dollar. We'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. Remember what Ronald Reagan said? I always remember this because it's one of his most famous quotes. The most dangerous words, the most scariest words you could ever hear is a knock on the door saying, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. Let me tell you something, people. CEO of Silicon Valley Bank and a couple other C-levels cashed out their stocks beforehand. Employees got bonuses, yearly bonuses, right before the regulators came in. Wall Street was telling you to buy into this bank. Kramer was telling you to buy into this bank. And all of a sudden, all this happened. There is no coincidence when it comes to money. Money is math. Now, if this runs out of control and it hits the big banks, Morgan, Citi, Wells, Bank of America, now that's game over shit. They're gonna try to contain it with a bunch of smaller banks. And they'll all say, oh, they were crypto lenders. Yeah, they were crypto lenders. It was stupid. Why were they lending money to crypto firms? Why? That's like, I'm gonna build a house, but it's only gonna have 3 walls. How are you gonna hold the roof up? I'm gonna use woke power. I'm just gonna use my carbon footprint. Just understand something. This is bail-ins, not bail-outs. Let's see the festivity play out this week. Let's see it play out in 10 minutes.